At Startup Grind, we believe that everyone should have at least one standing ovation in their life. We believe it should become at the beginning and not at the end. So I'm going to ask all of you to rest on your feet and help me to welcome RAD Soap Company.
Thank you. Do we have to turn this on?
It's already on.
Oh, it's on.
So welcome. I call you Team RAD. I'm sure you guys are the Radsters and the RAD family.
Yep.
And of course, I know we have an extension of the RAD family right here in the front row. We've got Greg, and we just know that everything that happens, Greg is a part of that. He's the wizard, kind of. I won't say behind the throne,
yeah.
but providing that support. So. What I want to do tonight is talk a little bit. Part of the goal of Startup Grind is to kind of give the story behind the story. So what I like to say is that if you read the Albany Business Review, then you're going to know that folks that are on the stage are successful, right? So we know they're successful. What we don't know sometimes is kind of how that came into being. And what Startup Grind really likes to share is the things that were overcome, because it really is, like a butterfly. Is if you take it out of the cocoon before it's done, it's not going to be able to survive. And so it's the strength, it's those things that a company goes through, brings it together. Sometimes things go like this, sometimes they go like this, but very often there's a trajectory. So we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to have a little conversation. I just want to say welcome. I'm really excited to have you guys here, and we spent some time together, and I will try so hard not to do. We just had such a good time talking. That I could just go on, but I know that we've got some time things. So we've got Sue, and we have Zach, and we have Max, and we plan to try and parse out the conversation of who was going to talk about what, but I suspect that we're going to have some crossover, and that's awesome, because the point is just to get the story out. So Sue, I'll start with you.
Yep.
And just share a little bit about I guess kind of what made you decide that what you'd been trying before wasn't working. What brought you into your kitchen to make to make RAD?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming. All these people, when I look out here, is like my Radsters, and it's thrilling to have this.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad everybody came. I started. This was like a life thing that I used to do. I used to go to every craft fair, every place, and I always looked at soaps. So that was the beginning of me loving soaps, and I just never found the right soap. And so that was the beginning of me searching, and always, every single time I would try, at any store, any craft fair, any farmer's market, always buying soaps. So we had a life crisis in our family. That's another story for another day, but we lost everything in 2009, and it was coming from 2007, 2008. So we had to decide as a family to start a company. And my boys were going to school at that time, and my husband and I were home, and we said, he looked at me and said, "What do you like to do?" And I went, "Believe it or not, I want to make soap," which is crazy when you don't have anything. So, but it wasn't to me, because I thought we could make the best bar soap in the world. I still believe ours is, and to this day, that's what I preach, and that's what I began. And I started in my kitchen. We trial and error. I did a couple of potions that I call them potions because I used to take little essential oils, oil here, this, and I used to test them on my son when he was little. They were, I just don't test on animals. I test on kids. So when we started, he had eczema, and I was so tired of going to doctors. I mean, everything is, textbook, and it's like, no, you're not helping him. He's burned from the stuff you're putting on his skin. So I'm not going to put something on him and let him run away, and I'm not going to do this over and over again if it's not going to help. So what we did was I finally found, I used to always try different oils and different things, and it finally came up with hemp. Hemp is it's high in omega-3, 6s, and 9s. It's a very fatty oil, and that ended up healing his skin. So that was the beginning of how I got into making the right kind of soap and how we started. And then I started doing farmers market. I figured the best thing to do is share Mother the Mother. Because mothers and I could talk.
Sure.
I was in the school system. I was everywhere, and they love to go to farmers market. I loved farmers markets. So when it all began, it was like sharing Mother to Mother, and that's what I always said. And so I would develop products that were with purpose. I had one for eczema. I had one. My husband had headaches, so I looked up. Okay, what can I do for headaches? You know, mothers always want to heal. They always want to help.
Sure.
So each product has its own little story behind it, and that's how RAD was born.
So
that's
talk
part of
a little bit. I'm going to ask Zach to talk just a little bit about what was it like for you
Oh yeah.
Going through
with the eczema before.
Well, oh yeah. So eczema. I don't know if anyone here has eczema, but it's terrible. It's one of those things that got progressively worse, and it's probably in my 8th grade. It was like really bad, to the point where hands were bleeding, feet were bleeding from just how dry I was. And she came home one day with this miraculous product and started using it. It worked for a while, and then all of a sudden it stopped working, and we were like really confused. We're like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, let's do some research. So we found out the company got sold out and they stopped making it with the original ingredients. So that's kind of like where RAD, you know, we're never going to change. We have all natural ingredients in our products, and we really try to help people. And I think that's what started it all. My mom went out, she created this hemp product because we knew that that's what was lacking in the product. She went out and she made my life better.
So, Max, we're going to come to you. You were watching. You're the brother that's, you know, and you guys have an amazingly close relationship. Talk a little bit about that and what that's been like.
Yeah, so it kind of started, me and my brother were 3 years apart, very close. I mean, you name it. We grew up in Cahoes, backyard football, basketball. Always were on the same team whenever we could be. But that 3-year difference, especially being in middle school and high school, it's a large difference when you're trying to play sports together. But we had video games, so we would play video games together. We just found any way to be teammates because we loved working together, because the sky was the limit when we were together. So what we did was Zach ended up coming home to work with my mom after we found out that we were going to sell our products in Whole Foods. I was at Manhattan College in the city. And after I heard this news, I mean, my background's finance. It's all I was doing was researching companies. And I thought, why don't we bring it to the next level and try to make a company that I was trying to research? And that's what brought me back.
So I want you to share a bit, and we kind of went around. We went to the middle part, but it's all good. It's all good.
Sorry.
We'll circle back around. But share. You said something really interesting. You kind of you talked about you were at college. You were already studying to be on Wall Street. And so that was your thing, and you saw from a distance. You saw what was happening with the family. Zach had already made his exit move back, right? So he'd already, you know. But there was something that you saw, and this is what I'm trying to get at. There was a pivotal point that took place. You saw the family business; it was always there, but your parents had encouraged you to branch out, both of you, and you had an experience that a lot of entrepreneurs have, that it kind of clicked the switch for you, that made what had initially seemed really enticing, which was a Wall Street career with all the perks and benefits that come with that, and made you say, nope, there's something I want to do. What
So at my school, I had a class, and it was, if you went to you had to go to the seminar, and it was about a book, and it was about the 5 world banks, the big banks, JP Morgan, Credit Suisse, you name it. And I just saw there was an unfair advantage. I mean, I saw that, I just felt like it wasn't a productive service. I wanted to create something where it was heartfelt. And I felt like after going to the seminar and her talking about her book, it kind of clicked to me and said, this is not the career for me. So that was the pivotal moment where I thought.
When you decided to come back.
Yes.
So talk about, we're talking about a company and you guys are so humble, right? So folks may not have a real clear idea of, your company is really successful and you're growing and you're scaling and doing a lot of amazing things, but you've been able to keep that essential realness, that authenticity, that genuineness, that caring about your customers real. So you were at the farmer's market, you were doing your thing, and
Scrapped it out.
you scrapped it out.
That's what I call it.
And
Scrapping.
then you
got to scrap.
you had something pretty interesting happen, where you had an introduction to
Oh yeah, when we did the Troy Farmers Market, we did Schenectady, we did Colony. I used to go down south and do one down south. We did about 4 or 5 I did one at the state. I used to go anywhere that they would take me, and I tried to keep in the Capital District, so we started, you get people that talk to each other, and you get a small community, and then by then everybody's ordering from you. So, but what happened was, it was during Christmas, and it was, somebody came up and they kept on trying to get to the booth, and we were busy, because during Christmas time we're really busy at the Troy Farmers Market, and it ended up being from Whole Foods. And they came up to the thing and said, would you like to be in Whole Foods? And we went, yeah, who wouldn't like to be in Whole Foods? And what happened was, I said, you got to be a movie star, you got to be, down in the city. And it's Troy, New York. You're telling me you're going to get me into Whole Foods. And the two of them said, yeah, we could. So it ended up, it was my birthday on that Monday. And I got a phone call. And she said, I am Joanne Long, who works in my Stuyvesant store now as manager. Small world, that's what happens. But she came up and she said, could you come to Ridgewood? We'd like to put you in our store. So my husband, he's always business plans and how you present stuff. And so he's teaching me how to do all this presenting. And we drive 2.5 hours. We get to New Jersey, we get to Ridgewood, and we get in there, and Georgie's there because she was the one that was she was in the whole body section of Whole Foods, and it ended up, she goes, yeah, we want you in. And it was like 2-minute conversation. I just drove 2.5 hours. I'm figuring sweating, giving a demo, it's like, oh my God, Whole Foods, what are we gonna say? What are we gonna do? No, they said, we want you. We've used your soap. I gave them a huge bar. We made up a big bar, so they got to split it amongst everybody. And then my husband and I leave, we're in Whole Foods. We're walking around the aisles. We didn't know what to do. We're going, okay, this is cool. What do you do?
Right.
And it was just such a shock. We decided to have lunch, so we had lunch there.
Always food.
We loved
always
it. Yeah,
food.
Always food. And we were it started the launch for just many more things to come. And that place launched a lot of people that visit Whole Foods and end up sharing our story with somebody else. And that's how we got into South Korea. The guy's wife bought soaps in Whole Foods, and he ended up calling us and said, my wife likes your soap. We want it in South Korea. And that was this discussion, and ended up we had our first pallet go out, so we had pictures of everybody on the pallet going out on a big truck. It's just every event we celebrate. There's a certain one we're going to introduce today. It's a teaser, but today I had everybody in, and I said, guys, this is a great product, and I just support it. And we just do that because I figure it is. How they say it's a village. Everybody has to work together. It's true because I can't make all the bars of soap they're going to supply the world.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I would like to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a team together, and we're going to do it. But that's what you need. You need people that are going to care as much and be in the passion of it, and we'll all be successful together.
Sure.
So.
Zach, talk about how you came back, because you, again, both kids were, and what I love, Sue, about what when you shared earlier is that in some family businesses, I would imagine that it almost wouldn't be an option. Like, this is the business, you're part of the family. You don't have any options. You're going to be a part of this thing, and you and your husband actually encouraged, almost forced them to go out and get that education. You gave them that choice.
And work for a year.
And so, Max, we kind of heard how you had a sort of an epiphany while you were out there. And Zach, what was it like for you that made you say, yeah, it's time to come home?
So my moment was, I was working for ESPN and PBS. I do a lot of our videos. If anyone watches our Tub Talks, I'm the soap bro. But I was doing television and radio, ESPN, shooting a bunch of their stuff. I did some writing. I won a New York Emmy for fracking. I did a production out there. We won an Emmy, a New York Emmy, which was awesome. And I was really excited about doing my video. And at one point, actually me and my wife were selling in farmers markets RAD Soap on the weekends to make ends meet. I was just out of college, fresh out of college, paying off loans. And so we were scrapping it out in Syracuse. 5 o'clock in the morning it started, and it ended at 2. It was crazy. Yeah. And there was a staircase we had to go up. It was bad. But we loved doing it together, and it's what brought us really close. I would say RAD was like one of the things that brought us really close together. And one day she called after she learned about Whole Foods, which I had no idea that was even happening. She just called me and she's like, Zach, she's like, what do you think? And we're like, let's do it. So, I mean, I packed up. I was living in Syracuse and I came home, and we've been doing it, and it's been great. And my expertise was, doing video and just kind of relating to the Radsters. I always look for new ways to talk to you guys, and we love doing it. So that's why we do it.
So talk about, every company has, we've already got the awesome and amazing brother relationship, which is just fascinating because, you guys, the competition, and I think I was like, you guys don't compete, and you were like, yeah, we do, but against the world, which I thought was kind of cool. But
exactly.
So talk a little bit about, and whoever wants to share, the dynamics of a family business. Like, how do you make that separation? Because it's obviously working for you guys, and I do a lot of business development, so I'm in a lot of companies. I'm, face to face with people. I'm doing business audits and finding out about. So you can walk in a building and get a sense really quickly of the energy of the people, whether they want to be there, they don't want to be there, they don't want you to be there. And when I walked into the factory, aside from just wanting to just stay because it smells so amazing, but everyone that I saw was kind of like, hi, how are you? And, so there's this thing where, Patrice, my namesake, was the first RAD person I met in your Stuyvesant. I was like, she's like the Everybody Bunny. She's like everywhere. So she was the first person that I encountered in the store. And you walk in the store, you get the aroma, and she was such an evangelist that within a couple minutes of talking, and I'd gone in simply because I knew that you guys were partners. This was me doing research for Death Wish Company, and before I left, I talked to Patrice. I talked to maybe there were 2 other people working with you, and I was like, so I need the card, and what's her name, and how can I get a hold of her? Because you can tell how employees interact with each other, and so I see that. How do you create? It's about culture, and so you've created this amazing culture, not just for your employees, but also in the family. So how does that work?
I can say a little bit. As a mother, the mother thing. But no, I think since they were little, I think I did not want that jealousy in a family. I did not want that. So they've always respected each other. I always had them, I used to watch them grow and drive them into a certain area so there wouldn't be competition.
Sure.
They went to the same schools. They did the competition during sports. But as the 2 of them, I redirected it. Because when they're little, you do get that. Sometimes they get that. And I used to see it. Like senior year, I think Zach went through, Max was doing lacrosse and doing all this stuff. He couldn't get in on a lacrosse team. He couldn't get, and at CBA at senior year, it was kind of, okay, what do we do with him? I got him into tennis because I found out that he was very independent and he liked to challenge himself. He would have been a great coach for that team.
Sure.
He would have been a great coach for Max if he was on a team. So I think those pivotal times when you watch your kids, and even at work, we kind of set up a respect for each other. I mean, we have our yelling matches, believe me. Everybody knows we have those. They call me, I have a name, but I'm not going to tell everybody.
Is this going to be one of those shows where when people watch it and there's going to be like, you're going to be talking, your lips are going to be, and there's going to be like this
Yeah.
box?
But no, overall, we respect each other. We have sat down, all 3 of us, and said, if we're going to work together, we have to have respect. I'm not going to treat you like a son. I'm going to treat you like a partner. And when we are making decisions, all of us, we are there together doing that. And I think that's what we respect each other's space, we respect each other's lives, separate than RAD. Holidays, we respect however we get together. We like to get together on holidays even.
Right.
We work all day. We get together on holidays.
Right.
And we have a blast. So, but those things, I think, you're always conscious of it. You're constantly trying to challenge yourself to make it a good relationship. So I think it's something you don't take for granted. I think that's my little say. So they can say what they, but that's mine. So.
I think you summed it up. I guess another thing is just passion. Seeing all of our employees here, even though we've been together all day today, is just that's what fuels me. gives me the fire to work hard and keep working and do whatever we have to do, because seeing people motivated with something that started in a kitchen and seeing them believe in us, and the sky's the limit working with everyone in our factory. I mean, you guys make it all happen.
Sure.
And it just translates through all of us. I mean, even though we do get in yelling matches and whatnot, we all know at the end of the day, everyone is very passionate about what we do, and it's okay.
And so the passion spills over sometimes into a verbal thing. What would you say, Sue, and any of you can answer this question, what surprised you? I mean, you've been kind of doing your thing, right? So you were in the farmers markets, and it was kind of like your own little solopreneur, venture that you were doing, and you set the limits, you set the parameters, and pretty much only had to keep up with the demand, listening for the requests of what people were looking for, what worked, what didn't work.
It's the best market to do it in.
Yeah.
A farmer's market.
So focus groups.
Yeah. But that's the best thing. We won't give. I mean, we're still doing Troy. We still do Schenectady, and I think we're going to cut out a couple of them. But it's the best place to test your product. I mean, people are honest with you. They either like it or they don't like it. They either reorder or they don't.
Sure.
So our success rate on that avenue is very high. We have a very high Cut that out. Okay, I had 3 kids only.
I was like, what kind of soap is that again?
What kind of soap? Courageous, no. Anyways, but no, it helps with, where's my thought going? I don't know.
No, but you were saying that just staying at the farmer's market, you really are doing focus groups, actually.
Yes.
You're not calling them that, but they really are.
When we release a product, we release it right there.
Sure.
Because I'll say, do you want to test my new product? Yes. So we hand out a whole bunch of them, and we give out a little review.
Sure.
They'll give us a review. We get a quick yes or no.
Sure.
And we're usually, every product, and usually it's like we get a 85 to 90% right on the nose. You know what I mean? For what we're doing it for, it works. And that's part of Greg too. He's the guy that just all the research now on the products, and they come out amazing.
Have you name something that you tried that you were like, yes, I know this is going to be excellent, and people were like, don't ever do that again?
Oh no, we'll never mention those. Everything I introduce to my public, they love.
Because
No.
but the trial and error is.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. Let me think. Well, deodorant started in the factory.
We can talk about deodorant.
Yeah, deodorant's a good one. Natural deodorants, most of them, when we started, we had to test it, so no one could wear deodorant to the factory, and everyone was going, really? It's like we're all going, okay, this doesn't work. Let's put on deodorant. I mean, that was the funniest one. That was one that was really.
Bookkeeper almost quit.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That's right.
So that would be #fail on the deodorant. Okay.
But now we've come up with a new line that's perfect. We're releasing it in another 2 months. I just want to let everybody know that
But there's going to be a new,
That's a super secret I just let out. But a couple months from now, you'll see a deodorant. I just don't want to tell you we ever released something and didn't improve it always.
Sure.
Every product I released, it's funny, at the farmer's market when I first started, because I wasn't really, I used to stir things together and use every kitchen utility that you had, to make these things. And I've seen some of my products that people have had, and they would melt. I mean, sun would hit it and it would melt. So I said, just put it in the refrigerator. It'll still work.
Yeah.
Get it cold. So those were my products in the beginning. Now they're really made, and it's improved all the time. Every product, if we can make anything, make it work better, we do. So
what surprised you about being a business when you transitioned from this is something you make a batch in your kitchen and you sell it in the farmer's market to now you have something that you're selling items online and you've got got orders coming in, you've got stores, actual brick and mortar locations. What surprised you about being you've always been in business, but being that kind of a business owner? What were you like? Wow.
Well, I think because when you put a label on something, when you have that jar, even today, I was labeling, okay? We were in there this morning because we have a ton of stuff. The guys in production did a ton of creams and stuff, and we had to sit there and label. And putting a label still on those jars is the coolest thing. I think those are the things that wake you up and go, they're buying, like, even when you see it in a shelf, you know what I mean, at Whole Foods. I mean, I cried the first time. I remember being in Whole Foods. They put a sign up of our family. They brought us down to New York City. They did a whole photo shoot on us. And it was like we were treated like movie stars. And, it was like, oh, my God, they closed down the street and they would take pictures. And then they give you these pictures in different, like I was in Brooklyn, I was in Connecticut, Soho. And then when the Albany store opened, I was up in, like, full picture.
Right.
So those kind of things make you just humble.
Right.
You know what I mean? Opening up that factory. And anyone here is welcome to come see us. I mean, the factory is an amazing building. We sit on that little couch and there's RAD Soap, and we have these lights and everything that just show that. We sit there sometimes and look at that and go, I was in my kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the things that you just I don't forget.
Sure.
I never
Sure.
forget. So
Talk about, without giving away any, secret sauce, but part of the reason why you guys are successful, why your products are so amazing, is your process. So don't talk about the process per se, but how did that come to be?
I think Max should say it. He says it the best because he knows exactly what. He'll go over the soap process.
Yeah, without telling any.
He'll tell you enough about it.
Yeah, so there's two real mainstream ways of making soap. One is cold process,
Right.
which is it's using an external heat. So what you're doing is you're taking oil and you're mixing it with your caustic sodas, which is your oils usually fats. Anything from olive oil to, you can even use goat's milk. As you can see, goat's milk soap's pretty popular. And it's putting those two ingredients together, letting saponification happen, which is suspending the oils, and it's creating soap. But when you do that process, especially cold process, it's 2 weeks it takes for saponification to happen, and that's along with another 2 week of you are waiting for it to cure. So you have to let
Sure.
the lye come out, because lye is very caustic. It's going to actually irritate and burn your skin. So you have to make sure that the soap bar is cured all the way. Then there's hot process. Hot process is the same way of mixing caustic sodas with oils, but in that process, you're heating it up. So it's usually taking you a 2-hour process to allow the saponification to happen, and then you are letting it sit for 24 hours to cool down. So what we did was, it's kind of a hybrid. So we figured out a way to make saponification happen in 15 minutes. So you can, when we make a soap bar, you can actually cut it even in 8 hours, and we could use it in your shower that night.
And got fresh,
Yeah.
so you've got
And then
a
an-
beautiful,
yeah,
fresh product.
Exactly. And then another problem with the cold and hot process is that with essential oils have flash points, and with caustic soda, it's raising heat. So at certain points, you're going to have no scent, and that's why in certain soaps, when you use it, it'll have a really nice scent in the beginning, and then it dulls out, and that's because of the lye. So what we figured out is a way to have the essential oil never be affected by the caustic soda. So you're going to get a smelly bar every time you use our soap.
Smelly bar.
The only time smelly is used in a good way. In a good
Smelly,
way.
yeah.
So, the life or the life of a company, an entrepreneurial company, is chaotic, right? It's not it's not 9 to 5. It's the hours of what it takes to get it done. So, how do you manage? If we're looking at the different quadrants, we've got family, we've got marriage, we've got mother, fatherhood, marriage, and life, right? So how do you manage the chaos?
It's very difficult. But I think when you're an entrepreneur, the business drives you. It's not the money, it's not everything. It's the feeling, like those feelings. They come every day, and you feel like you did something successful, and you feel like a whole person, and these things, and then the rest you have to manage. It's always trying to manage everything. It isn't an easy thing to get into unless you love it. You got to love it all the way.
Right.
And relationships do. Working 24 hours with my husband, we'd like to go to dinner at night. So sometimes we don't even want to look at each other.
Sure.
So it's those things you've just got to constantly. It's always managing. I don't know if it's easy, but I don't know why. My parents were in. That kind of, they had a food market. They
Right.
were, they did Polish kielbasa. And we used to sit there at midnight and rap cabasa with
Right.
them at night with the guy that used to come in with a ukulele, and he used to keep us all going. So my father was one of them that, and that's what 4 in the morning, we were making cabasa and serving it for the whole Easter week. We would have
Right.
people come from all over New York State to go get it. So I guess I grew up in that, and I
Yeah.
knew the sacrifice. And my mother would do little things to make that special time. And you got to take those special times and you got to hold them and just say, okay, like when we have a holiday together, I think when we're all together, we have a blast together. And I think that helps you get through those times, especially with the ones that aren't in it all the time. The ones that are in it, you're just so passionate. The day goes like that.
Sure.
Ask anybody that works with us.
Sure.
And
sure.
that's, it's hard, but I guess it's just in you.
Right.
It's something that's in you.
So one of obviously the way that I met you folks is because of partnerships, right? So
Yeah.
the fantastic partnerships that, Mike Brown has been able to create with Death Wish. And you guys have also leveraged some awesome partnerships. So talk about how do you select, you've got this great thing that's working, you've got
Yeah.
a nice system, a nice, ecosystem that's working well, and now you need to introduce some other, you talked about a couple of Whole Foods
Yeah,
and
why don't you talk about the ones that we have? Because
Okay. Yeah.
'cause he knows them
So
all.
the partnerships we have. So how do we select them? It kind of comes down to what we're feeling at the time. Really, it's kind of like with everything else. It's like we'll be like we wanted to relaunch our. We'll talk about Death Wish relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had an espresso bar, and we knew it needed an update. So we were looking for, we always look for unique companies that would bring something really awesome to the table.
Sure.
And we contacted Death Wish before they even hit the Super Bowl, but we recognized they had the same following as we did. They have these crazy fanatical fans, and we're like, we have crazy fanatical fans too. So I forgot who initially reached out. I think it was Sammy.
Yeah.
Yes. Sammy knew someone that. We just reached out to him and said, we'd love to introduce you guys to, how we make soap, and we'd love to make soap out of your coffee. And they're like, you can make soap out of coffee? And we're like, yes, we can. We make soap out of anything. So they came in, and we actually had a huge news report, and I don't know if anyone saw it, but we streamed live. I think it was, what time in the morning was this?
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning,
Drinking Death Wish coffee.
drinking Death Wish coffee. So the whole team. Yeah, it was.
We're crazy.
It's not marketing, it's
It was-
real.
Yes, no, it is. Yeah, the Death Wish
It's
coffee is
real,
real. The guys in the back there, the 2 production guys that are here that make our soap and help make out, they drink it all the time. They can tell you how potent Death Wish is. But they're a great relationship. So it kind of comes down to what we're feeling at the time, I guess. And then we look for those unique companies. And another, if you guys drink craft beer, I'm a big craft beer fan. So I went to see what the best craft beer was I could find in Omegang Brewery. I don't remember how the relationship started. It was Patrice brought us in.
Yeah.
And he brought us in, and we started making it, and then Dan just got us a 9-pin,
Yeah.
which is a great relationship. You guys drink the cider. They have a very passionate group.
So you'll be using those you'll be making soaps out of the
9-pin. They already do. They have them
Okay.
at, yeah. We don't
Got
sell them at the store yet. I
Right.
think we're working on that. And Brown's Brewery is another one that came.
Yeah,
to
so
us.
talk about some of those.
Yeah.
A lot of those are local partnerships, which is
All-
amazing
yes. Yeah,
and
we try to
awesome.
keep it local, yeah.
Yay, New York State. So what about? Are there other partnerships that you have besides the local ones?
I'm trying to think if we have any.
Yeah, we try to keep we like the local feel.
Yeah.
Because we can relate to more people, especially the Browns relationship. They're really close to us. It's another family-run business.
Sure.
They have a very awesome following, and their ingredients that they use are
Right.
amazing. And that's what Zach was saying when we try to partner with a company, it's always a unique ingredient, and it's always something that's like, you can make soap out of that. So
Right.
we want to keep that, and it's really cool, especially with beer. I mean, beer is great for your skin. It just gets a bad rap because you think of the frat boys and what have you not. But and even the coffee relationship, it's just really cool partnering with companies and finding awesome ingredients, and that's what we like to do.
Right. So I want to talk a little bit about a lot of companies, solopreneurs have mentorship relationships, and was that something that you initially? I know that you do some now, and I'll ask you to talk about that. You do some mentoring, whether it's informal or, but what about mentors? Like when you were developing and designing and devising and creating and scaling, was there mentorship that was kind of in the way?
Well, what happened with this company is my husband had started companies. Okay, so he was kind of our mentor. He kind of tells us what to do, what's coming up next. I mean, he is the best mentor that we have, I think, because of the amount of business background he had. I had sales background. It wasn't, and I started this at 50, so I'm not new at starting up companies. So I think we had everybody wanted me always to sell any kind of makeups and all those down, Mary Kay and those kind of things. Everybody always wanted, because they knew that I knew how to sell. But the thing with me is I always said, if I could manufacture a product, I know I could sell it. And if I made something that I believed in. So I think that's where mine more came from. I don't think mentoring, there's really, maybe our parents, because they were in the same type of business.
Because they modeled it.
Yeah, my father, I mean, a lot of things that, my sister's here, Cindy, and my father used to, tell us, like when we worked in the business, I mean, he would give us some, you just grew up with it, I think. And that was more of the mentoring, I think.
And so I know that you also are doing some informal mentoring as well. And how did that come about? Is it just that
I'm at the farmer's market, and I see this little person pull up, and they got this little thing, and they're trying to sell this, and especially even other soap companies. We were at one of the events, and this cute girl, she just, her tablecloth wasn't right, and her sign wasn't this, and she came over and said, "I love you, and I just want to be like you." I went, "You can be yourself," because she had a totally different type of line, and she, and I just kind of take those people under my wing and say, "Look, if you could, do this," and I knew what she had to do just to change a couple of things. And at the farmers markets, people start. It's a nice way to start a small business because it's not a big investment, and if you have a product that you believe in, it's a great way to test it. And you'd be surprised how just a little bit of help to help them with their logo, or help them how to get labels done, or we have 3 or 4 companies that we grew up kind of in the same 7 years that we've been in, and is Peanut Principle, Saratoga Cracker, and Gatherers Granola. Those we all grew at the same time. So we got together as a group, and we used to go, like we'd go to a craft fair down on Long Island. Well, we'd meet for dinner, and we'd all toss around, where's there another event? Those are the things that you want to know. And, I got a problem with this, can you sell, and those are the things that I think we did, and that's how I help people.
So it sounds like, even though there is a secret sauce, a method, something that you guys have that's special to RAD that differentiates you, not just from other soap companies, but other natural skincare companies. But there's also a lot of free sharing. You do a lot of sewing as well, into other companies and other...
I want everybody to go after their dream. I believe in dreams. I always, my whole life, I think dreaming is the best thing for you. You got to dream big, and you got to go after it. And that's what I think, and it will happen. I say it's not hard, because if you're dreaming and you're going after these things, if you got the passion, it drives you, and the things just fall. I mean, really, Whole Foods came up to us. We didn't go after Whole Foods. We didn't go after South Korea. We didn't go after the building we were in. We didn't go after the next building. I mean, building stores. We're going after them. We want to build stores now, so we're going to build stores. So it's something like that. I think that's what.
And it just is kind of it seems like almost from a natural company, products with a purpose. There's this organic kind of a growth that's taking place.
Well, I think you put yourself in there, because there's millions of soap companies. I had to make myself different than the other ones that are out there, and I think going and taking it and making it, when you smell it, you think of something. That's what I dealt with. I wanted the hippies to feel like you were in your 60s, you were at college again. My sandalwood patchouli. Girls with, a passion.
So talk about that. You've got some really, in addition to just an amazing product, your branding, the way that you've come up with your names and your pictures and the artwork and all those sort of things. Talk about that whole. All that is part of RAD. It's the wording, the meaning of the word. Talk about I know that you do a lot of the marketing. And
so we started. I can start from the beginning. It began with a lifestyle company. That's what we were going after, was lifestyles. And the original brands, we only have 2 left. It's Score, if you guys are familiar with the brand. Score and Toke are the only ones that are left. And we started lifestyles, and then as our remedy cream started taking off, we noticed body care just doesn't have natural anything in it. There's just no natural stuff out there. And that's what made us different. And we started seeing people's skin change. And I think that's what makes our company so cool is we help people all the time and makes us different. And the brand, and so when we did that, we're like, we don't want to be too serious. We're fun. We have fun with everything. So we decided to, we name things just crazy names. And and everyone asks us how we do it.
We sit in a room and we
and it's just kind of, and we were all like, what did you watch yesterday? Oh, that's a cool name. Like, could we make a deodorant out of that? Or is that a cool soap name? And we kind of just, throw things around and see what sticks. And that's, in our major brands, that's how we really came up with our Toke brand, which is our #1 brand. It was just kind of a random occurrence.
Well, and it was fun. But Toke as the word is like, kids run away from it.
Right.
When we first did it 7 years ago, believe me, we put that sign up and we were going, okay, we're going for it.
Yeah.
And we had conversations started just because, oh my God, what do you do?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this, I remember, oh, I did that, you do that. Everybody's talking about marijuana. Oh, yeah. And it started a conversation. And then we had glam girls. We called one Glam. And it was these girls that were like, hello, totally. Like, and so that was another kind of, and it was like a sweet scent. And so beach bum, pineapple coconut. Who doesn't smell pineapple coconut when you go away?
Right.
You're either drinking it or you're putting it on your skin, right? So it's like a pina colada. So those are the things that I knew I could connect with, and it brought people to say, just to hold that moment for a minute.
Right.
And when you hold moments of the past, it makes us nostalgic, and that's how we built our brand from that, because it was different.
And I'm just thinking about my toke at home and wait, my RAD Soap toke. Let me just make it clear. I'm talking about the products. Like I haven't even really been able to try anything else because I'm so punked out by the sandalwood and the patchouli.
Sandalwood's an old scent, but man, a lot of people love it.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
And we mix it a little bit. I do my own. I got the nose in the company, so I take things and we kind of mix them a little bit.
Right.
So. It works. And now, where it's going now, we have Sammy on board, and she does design work, and she comes up, and she's trendy, so she kind of sees things in the future.
Sure.
And things that are coming up, so we get all the new things like, Himalayan salt, and Rose was big, and we got American Beauty, if you want a beautiful product.
Right.
So these things, we bring everybody in, and you can grow with that, and people see something someplace else and they bring them, and that's how we make the products now. And then we want to look a little bit more sophisticated, so we changed a couple of my brands.
You're also, in addition to this, you've got just a beautiful range of products that really you can find something to suit most any taste.
Yeah.
You also are experiencing, in addition to this organic growth, the scaling that you're doing. Like you say things, and this is one of the things I love about Startup Grind, because successful people reach a point where they are going from success to success to success, and it just happens. Not that it always happens easily, but you almost aren't aware. Like you were like, oh yeah, and we're just opening stores, and I'm just like, does she even understand what she's saying?
I know, no, because if you did, you get really scared.
But talk about that.
Yeah, I think that's another. This next phase in our life is stores. It's really scary. We're going in some huge. Stuyvesant, Albany, Stuyvesant is huge.
Yeah.
And it just felt like really they kind of asked us to be in there. They had 30 people before we were going to be in there. So it was like, oh my God, we're in Stuyvesant. And now we're thinking of Long Island in this mall that's like second in the country.
Right.
They want RAD Soap.
Sure.
You can't take it at that,
Sure.
Or how many bars it costs to get into the mall. I do that calculation sometimes, and it's like, I used to do that, but you don't do that anymore. But you gotta just jump on board, right? And we just get on that, it's like a surfboard. Let's go for the
And
ride.
I think the cool thing is too, building the stores has really allowed our fans to come in and enjoy the RAD family, which we're now using a lot more because we connect to so many people now. And I think that's what the most exciting thing for me, at least with stores, is seeing our RADsters be able to just walk around in our world now.
Yeah.
You said something interesting about every 3 years you make a decision to leap. Talk about that. That's really almost you say it very easily, but it struck my attention because that's like it's more than a mantra. It's like a principle of the company. It's so ingrained and it's so natural to you guys and the company, the Radsters, that it just happens. But talk about that. Every 3 years, be ready. That's like a decision that you're making.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to say a little bit about it? Go ahead. You can start.
Yeah, so it's just a trend in our business as we've been looking, is that every 3 years we come to it's kind of looking at an analogy of it is like rock climbing. You come to a point where when you're climbing up and all of a sudden there's a ledge right
Really,
there
leap.
and there's literally no other chance, you have to jump, and if you fail you're going to fall, and if you don't you're going to keep climbing, and
Right.
that's what we have done. I mean, that was like in 2012, getting the Whole Foods relationship. That was a huge leap. The next one was moving out of our house
Yeah, that was a
into
big one, yeah.
moving into the factory. And then this past year was moving into a factory again. We literally, it was like four or five of us. We had 2 vans and we loaded up our factory in a week, unloaded it into our new factory, and started production that weekend.
Right.
And then from there, it was opening our store in Stuyvesant, and that was all hands on deck. I mean, literally every person in our company was a part of it, and that was the coolest part about it, is that everyone took the leap with us. And now we're into our next leap is
You're
stores.
prepping for your
Yeah, the
stretching,
store, see, that's what I'm
stretching
saying.
for the
I'm going,
next
we're
one.
gonna go.
Yeah.
You know.
So how do you know? I mean, it sounds so
It is,
easy. It
yeah.
sounds. So how do you, as a company, because I know a lot. We have a lot of Radsters. We've got Rad Family. We've got Radsters, but there are also some folks here that may be in the process of thinking about building, or they have a company. They're thinking, it's a time to scale. What factors do you take into consideration?
We do leap, but you have to get to that point where we have a lot of statistics. These guys are great at getting facts and numbers, and we just don't leap. I mean, you know when it's coming. You can feel it coming, and it's like, okay, we're going to do stores. So like picking Long Island isn't just a random.
Sure.
It's like that's a customer base that we have developed because of the farmers markets and the craft fairs, and they come up from the city and go to Lake George, and I had a farmers market up there. So my Long Island area is a huge hit for internet. We have stores, we have strategically have Whole Foods, some independents. So it just feels right. I mean, there's a feeling that comes, and you've just got to, you don't always, I'm the no person in my, it's like, no. And they go, yes, I go, okay, I'll do it. It's like I'm holding on. And
Right.
But you just, we just see the numbers. It's the right time. I mean, especially this time. I think Greg and I, we've been through business before, and we trust each other. And I trust him more than anybody
Right.
in life.
Right.
And I think when he says to do something, I think we all jump on board.
Sure.
We
So
jump.
even though it is a leap that to the outside
Yeah, it
might
looks like-
seem spontaneous, but it really is backed with.
Yeah.
It's really backed with research. It's backed with statistics. It's an experience. I mean,
Definitely.
I'm realizing that you have the entrepreneurship is not something that you learn, even though it's taught in school and you can
know.
fine tune and hone some pieces of it. But it really is caught. It's not taught. So that's something that generationally you were blessed with having parents.
And I
that-
think these two,
Yeah.
not knowing,
Sure.
because they grew up in it too.
Sure.
And they're, and then they have the education on different areas.
Sure.
Like our company is built on, like the 4 of us have such different things to contribute to it. Like we're a perfect group of people that when we make a decision,
Sure.
it comes from all different social,
Right.
finance,
Sure.
background.
Sure. So your
Mom.
team has you've got
Yes.
a team that has those necessary
Yeah.
pieces that are.
And we don't want to lose. We're not going to lose. We go with a win, and we're strong enough. And I believe the way that we put everybody together, it may not come out, as high, but so far, I mean, knock on wood. There's a lot of wood here. It's a great place to, it's a great way that we have looked at it, and we all really push. Through. We just have to push through. It's a
Right.
sacrifice for everybody, but we know our end game, and we all want to get there.
Sure.
So if we have to take sacrifices personally, we do, but we want to make sure everybody's healthy and we can push through. So
What
there's
would
a
be
lot of different
something
things.
that folks would be surprised to learn about the RAD company? Max looked like he's like, yeah, give me that. I'm right on it.
I'm thinking.
Something that's sort of interesting or Don't make me ask the superhero question.
Oh,
So what would be something that folks would be surprised that they haven't read in the business review, they didn't see it on the news reports.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Our company loves music. There's these little boom boxes. They're wireless. I mean, there's one in production, and there's one in shipping, and there's constantly music going on, dancing. Our production team can boogie
we
down
dance.
pretty well,
Yeah, we do dance.
and yeah, it's pretty funny because especially when anyone comes in first thing in the morning, you are greeted by the production team, and everyone's yelling, "Hey, like welcome, like good morning," and that's a great way to start the day. Is that it's such high energy, and that's what we love to promote.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the superhero question anyway. If you could be a superhero, Max, who would you be?
Batman.
Okay, cool. And why? Why would that be?
I like that. He wins at everything. That's a superhero. And that's what we try to promote through our company. We're going to win.
Zach, if you could be a superhero, who would you be?
We all know.
I think everyone here knows who I'm
Everybody
going to
knows.
be. But Superman is. I have a lot of Superman gear. I do. I'm a big Superman fan. Yes.
Why?
Because he always Superman saves the day. Like when someone's fallen, you're calling Superman, and I kind of love that. Like in the company,
hero.
I try to be the hero. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try to be there for everyone and make sure everyone's having a good ride. So
Okay.
they can always count on Superman. So that's.
Never losing hero. Sue, if you could be a superhero, who would that
I have
be?
my own name, Soap Queen.
Soap Queen. Okay. And
I'm
what
the
does the
queen.
Soap Queen? I mean, what are your superpowers?
I think I am stable. I think I set the pace of energy. Everybody knows either if I'm happy or I'm sad. They know when I'm mad or, the mood shows.
Right.
So I think I'm the cheerleader on the side, I guess.
Okay.
And the one that will take that. I'll run right with them
Sure.
wherever they're going.
Sure.
So.
What's next? Well, you talked about the stores, and we know there's some leaps that are coming. But what would you guys love to see? Or you've talked a little bit about what's next. So let's even take it further. What would you see as like when this event
ultimate
occurred?
things?
Yeah, you'd be
Yeah.
like, you know what? We've done it. We've dropped the mic.
I think, I'd love to do that. 20 stores.
20 stores.
Still making natural soaps the way that we're doing it now, but at a higher production, but making the product great, and seeing that I had some kind of event that all of my Radsters come to, and we all wear Radster T-shirts and have a big party. I think that's my thing. That's it.
So great. So 20
Yeah.
stores. How many stores are you at now?
We're at one.
We're at one. Okay. 20 stores. Still great natural products.
Yeah, create the same product. That's what happens to a lot of companies. They lose that.
The essence of who
yeah,
they are.
really do,
their
yep.
identity.
And I don't want to. I want to keep that strong.
Okay.
And have a party at the end, right?
And have a super red.
We
A
do.
super. We like parties.
I always quit. The one thing that we do, another thing Radsters do, is if there's a holiday, birthday, we're wrapping soap, and I see them working so hard that week. We have pizza parties, and we'll have them on Friday afternoon. We're building a deck out back so that we can do barbecues this year. So it's always not work. I like to, you play hard, work hard. That's
You
what
work
I
hard
always
as well.
say. Yeah.
I want to open it up to questions, and I know a lot of you know already the folks here, but who's got something that they want to ask?
Yeah, the big brands, and you mentioned it, they're doing all the same thing, and for that reason they're losing market share. So they're looking for people like you. Have you been approached?
Well, we found that out in California, believe it or not. I was in Vegas doing a show. And,
Doing a show?
Yeah, we do this central. Oh, yeah. No.
Sorry.
You know me. You never know. I might be doing a show. But we go out and do the Central Garden Show. And it's a show that brought us out to the West Coast. And it's funny, out there, you would think the West Coast would make a better soap than the East Coast because everything goes from west to east, okay?
What does that mean?
All trends start
Got ya.
on the West Coast.
Okay.
So anything that's trending, usually we get it a year later, 2 years later.
Okay.
I remember my husband used to work out in California. I would buy outfits out there when I used to go with him, and I used to get to buy stuff in the stores, and I'd come back, and that was like the next year, you wouldn't even see the stuff that I was wearing until the next year. So I understood that.
Sure.
So what happened with us is I was passing out our soap in the hotel there, and people were using it, and then I would go back to the bar. I was having a little drink at night, and they would say, you know, we don't have soap like this. And they said that nobody makes soap like this. And we kept on hearing it, and it's true. A lot of people do not make a natural soap like ours. And you can see that the chemical thing and all those things, people are looking for a product like us. So.
Awesome.
Your question, the investment community follows
Yeah.
us. They use us as
Yeah.
a
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
They come up, what, every quarter?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
sit
someone.
with
Yeah.
us.
They come up
But the
every
thing is,
quarter.
with the whole investment thing, the integrity of the company is what we want to keep intact.
Yeah.
So it won't happen until that's why we're the only ones who can scale our product. Really, there's no one that can do it. So we have to figure. That's the crazy thing about this business is
We're figuring
there's
out
no
everything.
such equipment to make our stuff. There just isn't. Like we use the craziest things to make our stuff. So, and it keeps getting crazier because we have to scale bigger. But we're in that process now that we actually have a machine being built that's going to help us scale. So yeah, but we're being approached, but nothing. We can't do it because the integrity. We're looking out for the consumer on it. So.
Anybody else? Questions?
I bought, I bought your Project H at the Stuyvesant Plaza store, and Patrice totally filled me in on everything. It was just, like you said, a wonderful ambassador. And I had heard about your company from a friend of mine, but I was particularly interested in the hemp portion of your product line and whether you identify more as a soap company or do you identify as being in the cannabis industry in general at all, or is that just kind of a side thing?
That's a Zach question.
Yeah, that's a Zach question.
So the cannabis community is an interesting community, and we've had the ability to really talk to a lot of different states. I mean, we get approached by a lot of different, there's growers, and we love hemp. That's kind of where we station our company around. We do support it because of how well it's cured my eczema, and it's in all of our bars of soap. So we do identify ourselves as a hemp company. Now with the cannabis side of things, it's a very highly debated thing right now. But we focus mostly on the hemp side just because we see the medicinal use of it. And if anyone here has used our bars of soap, everyone it says like you're not itchy anymore, and we really do relate that to hemp. So yeah, we do consider ourselves a hemp company for sure.
Right there in the back.
Building off of the kind of cannabis community kind of standards, do you see yourselves progressing with newer lines down the road, for example, like a CBD-based product for maybe women with, menstrual problems, because that's been known kind of to soothe them?
So yeah, let's talk about our partner. I would talk about him.
Yeah, so actually 100%. We definitely see, we have market research that 10% of the cannabis industry is topicals. We do see a medicinal properties to it. We're actually in beginnings with a company out of Oregon that actually makes organic cannabis. And we're...
They're the only ones, right?
Yeah, the only ones that own the certification. It's called DEM. And it's really hard to get, and they're the only ones in Washington right now that carry it. So we definitely see ourselves using it and infusing it with our products that we have now. Right now, the only problem is the whole federal law reasons. So that's why we're it's a very slow process. So, but definitely looking to get into it.
I know, everybody is, because we could do some awesome products. Especially in some of the sore muscle pain. We've seen it in joint. We've seen it for menstrual. We've seen it for cancer. I mean, there's all different things.
Being in the body care industry, we do get approached by a lot of cancer patients. So we do have a lot of stories about, cannabis helping people. We hear about it. We have our hemp cream and our chaga cream. There's a ton of cancer patients that use that to soothe during chemo treatments. That you do get split hands, dry skin, and we've helped a lot of people with that. So we're really proud of that.
A lot of doctors.
Doctors recommend us now too. That's another whole area that we didn't even.
Dermatologist,
Yeah, dermatologist, rheumatologist. So
Jonathan, you had another question.
yeah.
I'm just curious if you have to go through FDA approval process with a product that's medicinally active.
Boo.
I know.
Yeah, we don't promote our products in a way of being in a medicinal. We promote the ingredients because that's why we're a big advocate of hemp, because of the success we've seen from it. But we do not make claims that our products are geared towards certain ailments medicinally. It's more of referrals, and we more focus on the ingredients. And that's why we're so keen on making sure that our quality control of all of our ingredients is at a high standard, and everything is spec'd, processed, and we make sure that everything is at the highest standard when you get our product.
Any other questions? And we're gonna segue out of this portion. We're gonna go into a more open networking. So if you didn't ask questions, I know sometimes folks want to ask questions not in an open setting. So we're gonna call this part of it complete. I know we have some raffles that we're gonna do. So stick around, folks. Don't go anyplace yet. But I just want to thank you so much for being with us tonight, because this has been awesome and an opportunity to learn some things about you guys, and hopefully to share some information as well. We know you're rad and you're awesome, but now we kind of know some of the story behind the story. So thank you both, and thank you all.
Talk about the what we're gonna.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, in addition to the goodies. There's goodies. You guys, all right, who's here for the goodies? Somebody's here for goodies. Somebody came because there's goodies.
Yes.
And we're excited
We are.
to have the worldwide launch of the brand new
All natural detergent called Remix. This is our packaging. This is what we were yelling about in the office today. The package is so cute. This is our new detergent. It's all natural. Softens your clothes. It keeps your clothes lasting longer. It cleans the clothes. And it smells great. Your towels are great. They brighten clothes, and it's in a powder form. And we're giving you all a sample of it so you can try it and tell us on it. Send us an email. Go on Facebook. Everything. But please give us feedback on this product. We think it's the best we've
We're having
ever.
a party too at the store.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, so if you sign up on our line, and so the whole idea, I'm just gonna, Sammy and Tyler.
I thought this was mine. No,
No, it is yours.
I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I won't, yeah.
Although I didn't get a sticker. We'll talk about that later.
But the whole remix line is, so we have 3 of them, and they're all after like music. The one hit wonders is the one you guys are gonna get today from the 90s, so it's all 90s decked out. The other one we have is House Mix, which is all the EDM, electronic music. And then we have a thing called Grateful Threads, and those are the 3 that we're making, and they're great.
I love that one. These I got so excited about. Just the whole packaging. It's it's going to be a product I think that's really going to be a real huge launch, and we're really excited to do it. I love it. And it's got 3 loads in here.
Did you guys have
So
a
you
good
guys get 3
time
loads.
tonight? Did you enjoy learning about the RAD company? If you did, this says hashtag Startup Grind, but hashtag Startup Grind ALB is the Albany. If you had a good time, if you enjoyed yourself, if you'd come back, share something with Twitter. You guys are, if you register online, then you'll know about upcoming events. We've got a great event coming up with Stephen Key with Eventbrite, and he is a coach. He does licensing, product development. He's a multipreneur. He's started several businesses. So he's going to be here on April the 6th. He is going to be selling be able to get autographed copies of his book. And some other awesome events that are coming up that we haven't put them on the calendar yet. But if you didn't register online, make sure we get your email tonight so that we can invite you to upcoming events. I just want to again thank you guys. Thank Greg for his help. Thank you so much to the Radsters, man. You guys are amazing, and you really give yourselves a round of applause because you helped make this company what it is. And I just want to say thank you to our event space, the great folks at Pat's Barn. And like I said, we're gonna wrap up the taping part and just go into a little more networking. But just thank you all so much for being here.